after my practice, like it was a day where we just played pickup. And, we're coming out the gym all sweaty and stuff. And then we just see a red Ferrari in front of the gym. And Coach Brey's just leaning on it. And we're like, oh, they're going crazy because they knew that's what Coach came to pick me up in.
What's going on today? I'm the host, SchuZ Schumaker, and joining me today is the number 17 ranked player in the class of 2022. He's a five-star recruit, is a 2022 McDonald's All-American, as well as a 2022 Sports Illustrated All-American. He also is the highest ranked commit in Notre Dame history, JJ Starling. Appreciate you coming on today, my man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely. Well, the McDonald's All-American team has just got announced. You're a member of the 2022 class. Take us to what's going through your mind right now.
Nothing but excitement. This has been a dream for so long. And, growing up as a kid just seemed like a dream. You don't really think you could go get it. And just being able to be blessed with an opportunity like this one is just so exciting.
You're in the midst of getting so many different accolades, awards, right now. Like I just said, you're also the highest commit in Notre Dame history. We'll talk about that in a second. You're just a McDonald's All-American, Sports Illustrated All-American. You're a member that's probably going to be going to Geico this year. Out of everything going on right now, which one would you say has been the most notable one for you or the most important award or accolade you've achieved so far in your high school career?
Aside from the individual accolades and stuff like that, I would say being part of a winning team, especially what happened last year, with COVID and, given the year that we had. We went through many ups and downs, and just to be able to be back with my guys and be able to win games like we're doing now and, be one of the best ranked teams in the country, it's just a big accomplishment.
Well, we're going to get into this season and Notre Dame and all that stuff in a little bit, but I do want Notre Dame fans and people to learn how you became the JJ Starling that we all know today. So we head back. You're originally from New York. What was it like growing up out there?
I grew up in a small town. I went to a high school where basketball wasn't really a thing. It was like mainly football, baseball, lacrosse, and stuff like that. But we played like other big teams and stuff. So, just growing up in a small town is hard a little bit. Your name is not out there as much. And but my name really got out there from like AAU and stuff. So
I know that you didn't just play basketball growing up too. I know you also were a football player. You played quarterback and running back for a little bit even through high school, I believe. So what was that like?
So I actually love football. Football was my first love.
Mm-hmm.
I probably was better at football, but I ended up getting hurt and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And my parents decided to take out because they knew it would be better for my future. So I just, honed into my craft on basketball and just improved on that.
So football was the sport. If it wasn't for your parents, you could possibly still be playing football today instead of basketball?
Yeah, I would probably still be playing for sure, yeah.
So when did basketball first become your love for you? At what point did you say, I truly do fall in love with this sport. This is a sport I do want to pursue now?
Well, it was always a toss-up between the two because my brother actually introduced me to both sports, basketball and football. So despite football being my first love, I always knew basketball was right there with it. But when I finally got serious with it, it was probably maybe 7th, 8th grade. That's when I finally figured out okay, I can actually do something with this and, I should work harder.
I read a story about your dad, and I know he also has been your trainer too for majority of your career as well, but there was eventually that point where I believe it was middle school. He started making you stay after practice, working out a lot more than typical. So what caused that shift? When did that first start happening for you? And when would you say you started feeling, okay, I want to put this work in. I do want to buy into putting the extra hours in to be great down the road?
My dad, even from second grade, second grade, my dad always pushed me and stuff like that. But, as a kid, you don't really want to do that. I was too stuck up on the idea of being a kid. And I was like, why is my dad doing this to me? Why is he training me so hard? I'm only so at such age and stuff like that. But like I said, I finally realized I can actually do something with it. So I actually went to my dad. I was like, I'm actually going to accept you pushing me, and I want you to do it because I want to work harder. I want to be better. And I would say that came up about like 8th, 9th grade. That's when we started working out more, lifting more, and just doing extra stuff.
Growing up in New York too, that's an area that we all know is known for basketball as the state. I know you obviously grew up in a small area, so it wasn't necessarily like the New York City, the borough area, right, but it's still a rich history. You know, New York has one of the meccas of basketball. So how big was that for you to be able to grow up in an area that has that much history of basketball, has that much pride in basketball? What was that like?
Oh, it's big time. Because like I said, like even though I went to a school that wasn't big on basketball, you still played against like other great players, you know, and also like the people around you, like you know, family and stuff. You gain a lot of support from them and stuff like that. Like even though I didn't commit to Syracuse, like I still have a lot of support back at home for committing to Notre Dame, and that's like one of the big things of growing up in the city, like you said, that's so big on basketball. Like they just want to see, you know, another good player, so they just support you.
You look at just the history of players, and it's not just even the great all-time NBA players, the guys like Carmelo and all them, but it's just the great college players, the great high school players. The list goes on. To know that your name is now a part of them, obviously you still have your college career to pan out, then a pro career, but coming out of high school, your name is amongst some of the other great New York players. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot. It means a lot, but like you said, it just means I need to work even harder. I got a lot more, you know, to do. I'm not there yet. But like I said, it's a great accomplishment being able to be blessed with, you know, to be mentioned in names like that. But at the same time, I just got to keep working and just stay focused.
Is there a certain mentality that comes with being a New York player? When you go outside the state, obviously you're not playing in New York right now, but like when you go out of the state or anything, is there a certain mentality or a certain pride that comes with being a New York player?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like being a New York player, you got to be a dog. You know, you got to play with grit. And I learned you got to do a lot of things that a lot of players aren't comfortable doing, like diving on loose balls and you know expanding your game, stuff like that. So I would definitely say that.
Well, let's hop into your high school career. And for you, it's also another unique area in that because you've always played up the majority of your career. And that's the same thing for you. You started your high school career as a middle schooler in 8th grade. How did that opportunity come to you? And what was that like playing at the varsity level as an 8th grader?
So, you know, I played, like you said, I always played up, and I actually played an organization called Sting. It was like, you know, a little AAU organization, and our athletic director like saw me playing. They were like, "Yeah, he's gonna be playing up." Mind you, this was on at like 5th grade. So, you know, I just knew right from the jump because my athletic director that the opportunity would come. So
When you did get on that court and you started playing at the varsity level as an 8th grader, how did that develop you and how big has that been for your career going forward?
oh, it's been big time. Because mind you, I was like, what, 12, 13 years old playing against, you know, 17, 18, maybe 19-year-olds. And like, at the same time, like I was, you know, still a kid and I learned a lot, not only from my teammates, but from opponents. And it just helped me mature because when you're on that court, there's no such thing as like, being a kid anymore. Like you got to be able to play, hold yourself and stay in your ground. So that's what I had to learn to do.
As you continue to develop, we know you eventually go to La but take us through the next couple years you were out there. Like, what was like playing in high school, and just how big were those first couple years of actually playing in high school for you in your career?
It was big time. Like, you know, playing against really good players. The section was really good. And it was like a confidence booster, you know. It let me know that I could actually hang and stuff. So, like, the transition here, it wasn't, like, too bad. You know, obviously the competition is way different. But at the same time, like, I still came in with the same mentality that I didn't want to change. So it made it a lot easier.
What caused that change for you? Why did you decide to say, you know, I've done what I pretty much want to do. I think it's time for me to move on. I want to go to the prep scene. What led to that decision? Why did you decide to go to La
I knew like I would have to be pushed even more to be able to achieve my goals. You know, and being in New York, especially where I'm from, that can only do so much. So I knew like being on a stage like this one, it will allow me to, you know, be at the highest level and be able to achieve some of the goals that I wanted to achieve. And it's the best basketball in high school. So how can you complain?
When you look back at yourself as a kid going into 8th grade or high school, could you have imagined yourself becoming the 5-star recruit that you are today? A guy that could have practically gone to just about any college in the entire country, has the potential playing in the NBA and down the road, having all these accolades. Like, did you think that was something that was in store for you when you were first coming into high school?
No, not at all. I wouldn't say that because, like you said, like I came from a small town. Like, though it seemed like dreams to me. Despite me working hard and stuff like that can only take you so far. Like, even though you work hard, people still got to notice you, And just the transition here at Lalu and my AAU team, that just helped with it all. To be able to accomplish things like that.
When would you say you started realizing that you are that player? You are, every time you step on that court, you are one of the best players on that court. You're going to be a go-to guy. You are this type of high-level player. When did that start clicking for you?
I would say probably sophomore year, because before then, like I kind of knew, but at the same time, like I didn't really have that mindset. Like people around me told me they're like, you're a really good player. You got to be more of a dog and stuff like that. But I still had like a childish mindset, I guess. I was still a kid. I didn't really yet know what I was capable of doing until my sophomore year. That's when I finally was like, okay, like now I know what I'm able to do, and I just got to prove it.
When that fame and that attention started getting onto you, how did you handle that? Was that easy for you? Did it just kind of come natural? Did it take some time to adjust? Or how have you embraced now being a guy that, has a target on your back on the court, but also off the court that also comes with that attention, the people know you, kids know you. How have you adjusted to, in a sense, now high school fame?
I wouldn't say it was hard at all because I have the right people around me. They keep me grounded. My parents, for example, they handle some of that stuff and they know some of the stuff that I go through. So it's easy to talk to them. Let alone my coaches, my teammates, they all know. And like they're basketball players just like I am. So they know what I'm going through. And it's just easy being around people like that.
How important is it for a player to have a strong circle around them, rather it be family, a coaching staff from AAU or high school, teammates, friends, or whatnot, like whatever your circle makeup is? How important is that for a player like yourself?
Oh, it's very important. I learned that it's better to keep a small circle. And like I said, it's just good to have people that you can go to, like with outside problems, not just basketball, and people that you can trust. So I would say that's very important because, like you said, with a lot of, notoriety and stuff like that, it comes like untrustworthy people and stuff like that. People that you got to get out of your circle and stuff like that, not be able to listen to.
That first year at La Lumiere, it's a learning experience for you. You start getting on the national scene. What was that first year like for you? And just take us through the development that you really went through in that first year out there.
Oh, it was definitely a challenge. But I knew coming here, it wasn't going to be easy. Play some of the best basketball players in the country. Everybody is ranked. You play against ranked teams, well put together teams. And it was just a challenge, but it was definitely a learning experience, and I grew from it. This is why I'm able to, play the way I'm playing right now. I'm on the team that I am right now. So I would definitely say it pushed me to be a better player and just be a better leader.
The biggest thing that I always like when guys take that level to go to a prep school or something, even if it's like a local high school, it's like a Duncanville or something like that, it's a lead loaded team, is that those practices are the biggest thing. When you get to go day in, day out against other Division I players, in your case, you're going up against guys 1, 2, sometimes even 3 years possibly older than you. How important was that for your development to go up against these high level guys that are pros now, college players? What was that like for you?
Oh, it was very important because, I know you heard of the expression iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. That whole, like you said, coming to a school like this one, everybody is good. Like, even your teammates, they're good. They're going to push you. You're going to have bumps and bruises after practice, but that's what you want because that's going to prepare you for the college level.
That first year, was there a player that took you under their wing in a certain instance, like kind of helped you through this process and in a way was even like a role model here in a way that kind of helped guide you as you were developing into this level?
Yeah, for sure. Like last year we had a young team. We only had 2 seniors. So I would say like Trey Thompson, he's at Minnesota right now. He definitely helped me with that because that was his second or third year here. Mm-hmm. He knew what it took, despite being the only senior that was playing because the other senior was hurt. He just let me know what it would take to compete at this level.
This fast forwards a little bit, but obviously now there is another young guard that is up and coming that's going to take over the team next year and is already one of the top guys on this team, two of them, and Jeremy and Aiden. How special are those two, and just what's it been like kind of helping them now grow into what they're eventually going to become?
Oh, those are special players for sure. They're leading the team at such a young age. They're juniors. And they're just great people to be around. They're competitors. They'll push you like in practice. Me and Jeremy are hardly ever on the same team. So like we're always going up against each other and like pushing each other. So it's just great to have teammates like that. Like I said before, like that's what you want.
When you look at those two and just the way they've jumped, you obviously have also had that jump though. You've made that jump from last year to this year. So where's the biggest areas that you've seen improvement in yourself? How have you improved as a player from last year, your first year at All-American, to this year?
Definitely in the leadership aspect, like just doing every little thing, like not just offensively, because that's what I'm known for, but like, defensively and stuff like that, rebounding and when you're on the bench clapping for your teammates and stuff like that. That's what I learned. It was what it takes to win. And we all just bought into that mindset, and that's why we're doing what we're doing now.
When you look through the offseason for you, that obviously was a COVID season, things were up and down for everyone. You then got into the AAU season and you won City Rocks again. What was like just going out there and finally playing a pretty normal AAU season? Obviously, there's still ups and downs in it and everything, but obviously you guys got this final year of AAU basketball. So what was that like for you?
Oh, it was great because I'm so close with the City Rocks players and the staff. And it was great just to be able to compete and have a normal AAU season because you not only did you play the best high school basketball, but you played the best AAU basketball. Played against great teams, great players, and it was just nice.
You made a statement out there. Obviously, you've always been a well-regarded, high-ranked player, but you started more and more cement yourself as one of, if not the best combo guard in the country. Was that your goal? And would you say overall, when you look back at your final AAU season, did you succeed? Were you successful in what you achieved? And did you accomplish everything you wanted to in your final EYBL season?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say it was a goal. Like, going out there, I just wanted to win. Like, especially having the team that we had, like we were all competitors, and that was our goal, like to win Peach Jam. And with winning comes, other individual goals. So if you have a winning team, that's when you get recognized more. And it's just easy having a group of guys like that. We all bought into the same mindset of competing, winning games, and with that came more notoriety for all of us. So,
when you look back at your entire AAU career, what would you say is the funnest memory or the best memory that you created?
Let me see. Best memory? I would say after we found out that we were making it to like the second pool play or whatever, the playoffs of Peach Jam. We were in like the room that they had in the gym, and like we're all just cheering, and like we're just such a close knit group. We're all close together, like we're all hugging each other, and that was just a great moment for me.
As that time went on, you obviously were going through the recruiting process, and we'll touch up on that in a second. But let's go into this season now, because this is a special All-American team. You guys are ranked in the top 5. As long as things continue the way they're going, all signs point to you guys going to Geico this year. Walk us through getting ready for this year. Like, what did you want to accomplish? What did you want to get done in your final year of high school basketball?
I just wanted, obviously, everybody wants to win Geico, but on a lesser scale, I would say like I just wanted to get better, not only individually, but be able to help our team get better and make sure that every guy on the team is getting better daily. Pushing them and holding each other accountable. So that's what I wanted to accomplish. Just make sure that we were coming out better than we came in.
You guys are having a lot of success. Is this the way you expected? Did you think you guys were going to be as successful heading into the season?
Yeah, I knew for sure. Like, great group of guys. We were all pushing each other. Like, maybe a lot of people on the outside didn't expect this, but we all knew individually like that we were going to do this. Our coach knew we were going to do this. We held ourselves to that standard every day, and that's what makes us so successful.
When you guys are looking at this schedule, it's always been for the past 5 or 6 years since prep ball has become more and more popular. There's always been high-level schedules and challenges and all that, but Now you guys are in the NIBC, and there's all this top talent you guys have to go up against in the tournament form all year long, where you're matching up literally almost every weekend with top guys that are ranked right around your area, that are guys that are just as good. So how big has that been for you, and what's it been like knowing that you get a chance to make a statement almost every weekend?
Oh, it's great. Great having a conference like NIBC where you're playing the top teams, top guys in the country. Because like I said previously, like it's just preparing you for college, and it's putting you one step ahead than, let's say, a guy that went to a normal public school. Then you know what it takes to succeed as a winning team at the highest level.
If you could pick one team that you have circled on your calendar that you want to match up against, what team is that and why?
All of them. Pacific team, all of them. They're all on the list, because it's not just, you're not gonna get where you want to go by beating one team. You gotta be able to string games together and just win at high level.
How about for yourself personally? We know that you've already made a statement. Every ranking is moving you up, and you've earned respect of everyone in the country pretty much now. But is there anything you want to leave high school being remembered for, or a certain statement you want to make in the final 2, 3, 4 months of the season? Like, what do you want to make a statement, or is there even a statement you want to make in the next couple months?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to keep improving as a player individually. But one thing I want to be marked for, like, besides like individual stuff, is just being part of a winning team. That's the big thing, because, I learned that people aren't going to, memorize like the amount of points that you average or whatever. They're going to memorize like whether you were part of a winning team, whether you won a championship or not. And that's just the mindset that I have now.
You've gone through this recruiting process now at the same time as all this stuff's been going on throughout your career. And it was a hectic one because you had offers from schools all over the country. You narrowed down to a top 5, though. You had Duke, Northwestern, you had Notre Dame in there, Stanford, and Syracuse. What originally led to those 5? Why were those the 5 schools that stood out to you the most?
Those are the schools that represented me as a person, to be honest. Like, their culture, education, and basketball. Like, you can't get any better than that. And those are what I saw in those schools, so that's why I just narrowed it down to those 5.
You mentioned what represents you the most. That's something that not too many guys look at. There might be some out there, but what were you looking for in terms of represent you? Like, what exactly do you mean by that? Go a little bit deeper into that.
Like, I'm big on education aside from basketball. Like, that's one thing I pride myself on. My parents always, preach that don't just be an athlete, be a student athlete. So, I took like AP classes and stuff like that. And so that's what I mean by those are the schools that represent me. And I just saw that in myself. So
there is a couple of fan bases that, obviously everyone wanted you there, but there's one other fan base that didn't get you that I think a lot of the country thought you're going to, at least for a while then. That was Duke. Obviously, we know you're going to Notre Dame and all that, but who finished second in this recruitment? Was it Duke? Was it someone else? Like, who did this recruitment come down to you for you personally in that final maybe week or two that you were looking at schools? Like, what did that final group look like for you?
It was definitely hard. I wouldn't say like if I didn't commit to Notre Dame, I would have committed here. There was like no second. Like that's what made the decision so hard. They were all like so good in my eyes, and like I knew that I would have a great opportunity at each and every one of them. That's what took me so long to make the decision. And I get this question a lot, like who would come second if you didn't choose Notre Dame and stuff. But I really don't have an answer for that.
As for Duke, like I said, there was a lot of people that made the crystal balls and all that stuff going on, which obviously then all get their own decision to make a crystal ball however they do it. But what exactly went there with Duke? Like, how close were you to ever possibly going there? What did you like about Duke, and what ultimately led you to Notre Dame over Duke and every other school in general there?
I love Duke. The coach especially, like they just made, we had a bond outside of recruiting, and like I said, I just made it so much harder. Those are great guys. I met some of the guys that play there now. I ran pickup with them and stuff. And the recruiting class they got coming in, I'm actually cool with those guys too. So it's just a great college, great culture. But, I ultimately picked Notre Dame over them because I felt even tighter and closer with the coaches at Notre Dame and the players there. And I knew that would be an opportunity that I could thrive in.
Well, let's go into Notre Dame because you did something that I've always looked down and was wondering, why don't top guys go to Notre Dame? Obviously, like when you look at the Kansases, the Dukes, North Carolinas, like those guys might get them, but there's plenty of other 5-stars that go to other schools that's not a blue blood. And Notre Dame obviously might not have your NBA All-Stars right now. That's because not too many 5-stars have ever gone. No one's really given them a chance to get those type of players yet. But Coach Brey's always managed to still make NBA players. He's still got guys, no matter where they're ranked or how good they are coming out of high school, to the NBA. So what made you just say, you know what, there might not be a track record of 5-stars. There's never been a 5-star commit to Notre Dame before. Why do I want to buy in? Why do I feel like I'm ready to take this jump and say, you know what, I want to become the very first 5-star to commit to Notre Dame and Coach Brey?
I just wanted to be different. Every college starts somewhere. Like Duke wasn't always. Every college had, a 5-star or some 5-stars that said, hey, I'm going to be different and go here. And that's what made the program the program. I would say, Coach Brey, he just knew – I just knew I could trust him with my career. And I knew that I would be part of a team that would thrive not only on the court but off the court. And that's what I just love. So I would definitely say that's why I chose him.
You took a visit out there, and I know there was a story I read about. And I want you to kind of give us a little bit more detail about this, but I believe Coach Brey pulled up in a Ferrari to pick you up for your visit. That's something I think we've heard a little bit about that from other coaches out there. I know there's been some things in football and whatnot going on, but I don't think too many people correlate Coach Brey and Ferraris, at least in people's typical vision of Coach Brey. So you have to take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so it happened after my practice. It was a day where we just played pickup, and we're coming out the gym all sweaty and stuff, and then we just see a red Ferrari in front of the gym, and Coach Brey's just leaning on it, and we're like, oh, they were like, my teammates were going crazy because they knew that's what Coach came to pick me up in, and I was going wild myself because I'd never been in a Ferrari before, and it was like a crazy moment. I didn't expect it, but it was a nice moment.
Did you ever even think that Coach Brey would drive a Ferrari?
No. I'm I wasn't surprised too much because he's just that cool guy, that laid back guy. I was like, yeah, this is definitely something he would do.
So he picks you up from school. He drives you to campus. You go through your visit process. So what went down that visit? Obviously, it had to be a special one because that's where you're committing to. So you got to walk us through. What did that visit look like? What happened? Just take us through your time out there.
Oh, it was a great time. And at the time, there were students on campus. So I got to, be with Blake a lot of the time and tour the campus and get to know a lot of people. And right then and there, I knew I was this is somewhere where I can see myself going, fitting in and just loving the culture. And I just loved every moment of it. Nice weather and stuff like that. I couldn't complain.
And you mentioned Blake there, and I know a lot of people are getting excited. A lot of people are surprised. And he came on, he announced his commitment with me back a year ago when he did it. And he said something that at the time, I don't think too many people expected. I thought he was supposed to be a top 50, top 40 player. He said he's going to be one type of player. Obviously, we see what he's doing this year. He's very well in that category, but there's a chance still, obviously. You two could be a dynamic duo next season, which would be a lethal backcourt for Notre Dame. Walk us through your guys' bond, though. Just how did you guys get to know each other? Was that the first time you started talking to him? And where do you stand right now with Blake?
Oh, we're super close. I'm so proud of him, of what he's doing. I knew before the season even started, I knew what type of player he would be. He just had that same mindset that I have. He's a hard worker, and I knew he was going to prove everybody wrong. He's an underdog. Like I said, we're really close, and obviously I would love to play with him next year. But at the same time, God is blessing him with the ability to be able to leave potentially. So if he has that opportunity, why not take it, But like I said, I would love to play with him. And, he's just a great player.
Let's say the tip-off of next season is going off and you two are in the backcourt. Who knows? I know Coach Brey sometimes lets the young guys develop the first game or two before they go in the starting lineup. So who knows exactly what happens there. But you two step foot on the court together for next season. How special would a backcourt of JJ Starling and Blake Wesley be?
Oh, my gosh. It would be very, very, very special. I know we're going to push each other in practice. because that's how it was when I went on my visit, when we worked out and stuff together. Like, he pushed me, I pushed him. But it's gonna be a great moment. We're gonna do what we need to do, handle our business on the court.
There is a chance that a lot of this team comes back. Pretty much everyone that's in the rotation. I know Coach Brey's only playing about 7 guys this year, but everyone has the opportunity to come back and use a super senior season of those that are seniors. So potentially, obviously, Prentice could come back. He has obviously pro opportunities as well if he wants to take that. But if you guys bring back the 7 guys in rotation, or 8 guys in rotation this year, obviously adding in yourself and the other guys we're going to talk about in your recruiting class too, how special will that team be next year?
Oh, it's going to be very special. As you see now, they're playing great basketball, and it's going to next year. You know, we're going to have an older team, and they're going to know what it takes to win. They're going to take, you know, younger guys like me and all the other players that's coming in my class, take us under their wing and just, you know, teach us like what it takes and let us know like what standard we need to set before the season even starts to make sure that we're winning.
Let's go a little bit deeper into Coach Brey though, because he's someone that I don't think too much of the country truly gets and understands. He's a great coach, iconic. He's won countless games. He's a very, very successful, one of the best in the game today. But not too many seem to know his personality. Like you said, I don't think anyone would really expect him to pull up in a Ferrari. Some people might see him as a cool coach, others might not. But what is Coach Brey like? Just talking to him on the phone, hanging out with him. Take us through Coach Brey.
He is such a cool, laid-back guy. Like, he's someone you can just go to and just talk about anything to without him having a problem. Like, he'd be there to just listen if you need somebody to just listen, or he'll give you advice. And that's what I love. Like, it just made it seem like he's so trustworthy. And that's why I just chose that school. Like, a lot of people might see his persona on the court, like he's serious. He wants to win, obviously, competitor, but off the court, like, he's just so laid back and easy to talk to. He jokes around with you. He's serious when he needs to be serious and stuff like that. That's what you want as a coach.
I believe they were on you literally from the beginning. Coaches in schools start talking to you, reaching out, come on visits. And I also read that they were there the very first time they could officially see you in person. They came, I think it was like 6 a.m. or something. I read this about you in that story. Walk us through that and just how big was that moment for you in your recruiting process? To know that they really wanted you, they were bought in literally from the beginning. How big was that for you? And just take us to that time as well.
Oh, it was a big moment. Like you said, like, that just put it even further that they wanted me back. Because, like, you know what? Not a lot of coaches are coming to a gym, you know, in the woods, let alone at 6 a.m. to watch a player, you know. And that just let me know that I'm a special recruit to them, and that just stood out.
Out of every memory you've created so far at Coach Brey, which one's your favorite one?
Ooh, which was my favorite one? Man, I don't even know. There's just, I don't know. I really don't.
As for the rest of the coaching staff too, obviously I know it wasn't just Coach Brey recruiting you. Who else are you close to on the coaching staff?
Coach Humphrey, for sure. Coach Humphrey, he's actually what started the recruitment with Notre Dame. And like I said, again, he's like Coach Brey, just a younger version. You know, really cool guy and just easy to talk to. And I'm really, really close with him.
You are a special recruit coming in, but you're not the only one coming in too. You guys do have a top 15 recruiting class. Dom is going to be a big-time piece for you guys. He's one of the more college-ready guys, I think. I know he's ranked outside the top 100 and whatever rankings you want to put him at, but he's someone I feel like could get you guys minutes right away from day one. You also got another big-time player in Venn, who also is a spectacular scorer. He has a little bit of room to grow to his potential super high. Walk us through those two. How close are you with them? Did you know them before you commit there? Or just kind of take us through your relationship with those two.
So I'm very close with Dom, actually, but I knew Dom a little bit longer because we played against each other in Florida in the summer. But, you know, we know, like, the mindset going in. Like, we're already talking about it, so we stay in contact. We know, like, a lot of this winning comes with chemistry and camaraderie and stuff like that, so we're just building it now.
When you look at you three, obviously there could be guys might not stay all 4 years of your guys' career. You obviously have a chance to go to the NBA in 1, 2, 3, whatever it means for you. But if you guys do spend, however long you guys do spend together, How much can you guys accomplish, and how excited should Notre Dame fans be for you three?
They should be very excited because they got 3 competitors coming in that's just ready to get to it from day one. Obviously, a goal would just be, to make the tournament for one. That would be a great accomplishment, especially doing it with the team that we would be doing it with. And like you said, whether it takes 1, 2, or 3 years, my mindset isn't really on the NBA right now. Like, I learned not to chase it. Just let it come to me. If it comes, it comes. That opportunity, if I'm blessed to have that, it will come. So my mindset is just being focused on winning basketball.
That right there is huge because so many guys that end up getting that 5-star pedigree, it's challenging. You're going to see the mock drafts. They're going to keep coming up from ESPN and Draft and Web Network, all these different drafting sites. You're going to see it. You're going to see your tweets and mentions and Instagram stuff about that. How do you stay focused though? Because that is challenging. When you do see your name at the ultimate goal, people think you have that talent. People think you could go there. Guys do get sidetracked and start saying, I'm ready for this. I don't need to focus on college, this, that, and the third. And ultimately, you slowly start moving away from that. And it ends up kind of going to a place where you have to come back another year or whatnot. So how do you stay locked in on college? How do you stay locked in and say, I'm ultimately am working for the NBA goal, but I'm still going to focus in on my job today in college?
The biggest thing is just staying humble. Because like you said, with 5-star, ratings come a lot of, different treatment, like, a lot more media and stuff like that, a lot more recognition. Sometimes unwanted and unnecessary recognition. You got to be able to, tune that out. And a lot of that comes with my parents, but also praying. I pray to God, that he keeps me focused because at the same time, I still got to finish out my senior year. Like, I didn't accomplish anything yet. I got to finish out my senior year. I got to go to college and, take care of my books and the things on the court. So just praying and being able to talk to the right people to talk to about things that's going on in your life.
How big has it been to have your relationship with God? I know you're a strong believer. We're going to wrap up talking about that in a little bit too, but to have that faith with God, to have someone that you truly know you can rely on whenever, no matter what's going on, how big has that been for you in your career?
Oh, it's been so big, because with the opportunities I'm being blessed with now, at the same token, he can take them away just like that. So it's very big. Like, I try to pray, morning, night. I'm trying to get more focus on that. Getting sidetracked with school and basketball, I got to be able to, lock in and be able to still have those conversations with him. And I'm reading my Bible a lot more because I know without him, I wouldn't be in this place at all. Without him, without my parents, without the people around me, there would be no me right now.
Notre Dame fans are ecstatic to get the highest ranked recruit in program history out there. But what can they expect from you when you do get out there? What is JJ Starling bringing to Notre Dame?
I'm bringing in a great personality off the court. Let's just get that right out the way. I'm lighthearted. I joke a lot and stuff, but on the court, you're just gonna get a competitor that just wants to win and wants to improve and make sure everybody around him is happy and improving at the same rate. And you're gonna get a scorer and a player that's gonna dig in on defense. Just do what he has to do to win basketball.
We mentioned that this team could come back. Obviously, Prentice could be back next year. He could be a point guard. He could be gone. We know that you are a combo guard according to different ranking sites and whatnot, but you are more than capable of being a point guard. You can obviously run that as well. And you could also run the shooting guard too. That's more than capable of that, obviously, you've shown too. But what does Coach Brey expect from you? Does he plan for you to be the point guard, use you at both guard spots, use you at shooting guard? What does he expect you to run next year in the lineup when you get out there to Notre Dame as a freshman?
He expects me to do both, and I expect to be able to do whatever needs to be done to win basketball. But like I said, he's gonna have me coming off screens, off the ball. He's gonna have me screens with the ball in my hands, and that's the good thing about Coach Brey. He puts trust in his guards, and hopefully, I can just carry it out and execute next year.
If you could compare yourself to someone, or maybe even a couple different guys, you have different aspects that you relate to. Who are some guys or one guy specifically that you would compare yourself to, whether it be a Notre Dame player, NBA player, all-time player? Who are some guys that you take pieces from, or even one specific guy that you kind of would compare yourself to?
Probably for shooting, just scoring in general, Bradley Beal or Devin Booker. And then finishing, probably Kyrie Irving. Like, he's just such a magician with the ball. He knows how to, go into the defenders, knows how to use the glass. And that's what I've been trying to work on. So I would definitely say those three players.
I know a huge thing also that's come into effect for you guys now is NIL. Everyone's still learning about it. It's the first year of it being in effect, but did that factor in any way in your recruiting process? Did Notre Dame have a pitch regarding NIL? If so, like, what is Notre Dame's pitch when it comes to NIL?
The funny thing is, I'm not really worried about that, because at the same time, that's just that can become a distraction if you let it be. Like, with me, especially as a college, this being a new thing and you're still young, I'll be going in at 18 years old and being able to have opportunities like money and stuff. It's easy to let that go to your head. So I'm trying not to focus on that, but definitely with a program like Notre Dame, like where they're recognized, like they're recognized worldly, you know what I'm saying? So like those connections aren't hard to come by. So if it comes, it comes. But if it doesn't, I still got to be able to do what I do on the court.
Are there any guys at Notre Dame right now that you're close to from you? Obviously, you've taken your visits out there, some of the guys, I'm sure, but have you formed a relationship with anyone besides Blake? I know we talked about him, but anyone else that's in the locker room right now that you're close to?
I'm close with Trey and Prentice for sure. Those are guys that I mainly spend my time with when I go up there. But yeah, I would definitely say those three: Blake, Prentice, and Trey.
What are their advice to you when they do know that they've obviously experienced now, especially Prentice? He's had a 4-year experience. Trey's been there for a couple of years as well now. How big has it been to kind of have their advice for you? And have you even been able to pick their brain all yet? Have you asked them for advice? And if so, what's the advice they've given you?
I'm definitely looking forward to picking their brain when I actually get on campus. But, those are going to be players that I'm going to listen and look up to because they're a lot more experienced than I am. They've been at Notre Dame far longer than I will be. So I look forward to learning and just, gaining more knowledge on the court so I can just impact winning.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One thing is that in your bio, you have Uno. Take us through that a little bit. Why do you have that there and what does that mean to you?
I have that in there because that's my jersey number. One. Growing up, I actually played with the jersey number 11, and then I ended up switching to one my freshman year. And I kind of came up with this little, I guess, saying to go behind it. Like, there's only one person that can stop me on the court, and that's myself.
Also, a huge thing I know everyone wants to create for themselves is a legacy, and we know what your next chapter is going to be. It's going to be at Notre Dame. So whenever you do leave campus, whenever you decide to move on to the next level, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court throughout your Notre Dame career?
Like I said, the same thing I want to be remembered for at Lalu, just winning basketball. But off the court, I want to be remembered by, being a great person, easy to talk to, and just not a cocky person. I just think they're above everybody else. Because at the same time, like, even though I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm just the same as everybody else, and I'm no different. And I shouldn't be viewed as any different.
We've already touched up on your faith a little bit, but that's the last thing I want to get into with you. So when you look through this entire journey that we've gone through now, where would you say has been the biggest moment that you've seen God show up in your life so far?
The biggest moment, I would say last year for sure. There's been a lot of big moments. He blessed me with getting my first offer and stuff like that. But last year, like, it was really hard, like I said, with COVID and being away from home. Like, I'm a mama's boy, like very family oriented, and I'm a 2-hour flight from home, and I just had to learn to talk to the people around me. But not only that, I had to grow my faith with God. But that looked like last year was just going on simple walks and just having conversations, just letting out what I'm worried about, what's going on, what my struggles are, and that really helped me. And that's why it's way easier this year, because I know I can do that now.
Has that faith always been a tight relationship with you and God? I know you've probably grown up in a Christian household and all that, and so it's kind of brought upon you at a young age, but there's always that moment that you start really connecting with God and you have that one-on-one relationship. It's kind of branches off from just being a family relationship with God to end up becoming that personal one-on-one bond. So when was that for you?
So, growing up as a teenager in the U.S., obviously, like, it's easy to get distracted by, like, worldly things and stuff. So I would say definitely, like, I was probably caught up in that when I shouldn't have been. But when I started focusing and, like, on my relationship with God and, like, not being as distracted, I would say probably, like, either last year or 2 years ago. Because before then, like, obviously I grew up in a Christian household, but I probably didn't, like, pray to him as much as I should have, or, like, read the Bible as much as I should have. But now I'm making sure I do that, because I know, like, that's the reason why I'm doing these things right now. Like, the reason why I'm accomplishing what I want to accomplish. So I know I got to give things right back to them.
Your platform continues to grow, and it will only continue to grow as you move up stages and grow throughout your career. How do you plan to be able to spread God's light and be the light to the world throughout your career as you get a larger and larger platform?
It's just like doing little things. Like, I have teammates that talk about God too. They do the same thing I do. So I talk to them about it. Whether it's a verse that I like, what I'm reading, how they feel, stuff like that. But just using my media platform, just spreading little positive quotes and stuff, because you never know how somebody's feeling. That positive quote might change something. So just doing little stuff like that and being able to spread, like, Bible verses and just highlighting that. That's just a big thing.
Amen, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Notre Dame fans your 3 biggest goals that you have set for your Notre Dame career.
Oh, 3 biggest goals. Oh, man. All right, 3 biggest goals. Let's see. I got 2. Let's see. Like I said, make the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Win a championship. And 3rd, I don't know, 3rd.
Well, JJ, congratulations once again on becoming a McDonald's All-American this year. Keep on doing your thing this year. I'm excited to see what God's got next for you, and keep being alive. And I'm excited to see what you're able to accomplish with your Notre Dame career. And I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, man. You're always welcome on.
Yes, sir.
Man, God bless you, man.
God bless.